Hi everyone, welcome to the Whiteleyverse with me, Connor Whiteley, for another daily short story. Now, before I start today's story, please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you want to buy this short story and any of my other fiction, then they're available from all major ebook retailers and at your local bookstore and local library if you requested, and you can order paperback copies from Amazon. Now, here's today's short story. I hope you enjoyed just as much as I did writing it.
Round the park and beyond. Feeling the cold wooden floor of his London apartment, Charlie let out a long breath as he placed the final cardboard box filled with bits and pieces on top of the other boxes. The cardboard felt cold and smooth as he ran his fingers over them. So many memories and so much stuff. Turning around, Charlie gave a half smile as he looked at the rest of his apartment. It was a simple, but fairly expensive apartment in the heart of wonderful London. The large room was easily large enough to fit 50 people in, with its long smooth white walls and high ceiling. One of Charlie's favorite features had to be the great design of it all. He had a large living room with 2 sofas in the front, a small bedroom to the side in another room, and a massive kitchen and entertainment space in the back. Some people said it was open concept taken to the extreme, but he liked it. It allowed him to have some great parties and entertain friends and family when they came. And everyone was impressed. The walls of the apartment stopped the noisy London city traffic and trains from getting into the apartment. Charlie knew what that was like. Studying at university in London was a nightmare when you lived near a main road. So much traffic at all hours of the night. But here in this apartment, you had no idea you were in noisy London. But it also opened his heart open to such pain and agony. Charlie only had to smell the air, with its sweet earthy manly aftershave, to be reminded of that fact. His boyfriend of 5 whole years had walked out on him last week. The jerk. 5 whole years wasted. He couldn't even bring himself to say his ex's name. Charlie frowned as he thought about the stupid mistake of letting him talk Charlie into moving to Durham in the far north for his new job. Of course, at the time it sounded great. Charlie had always wanted to move away from London. He wanted to go and experience the world, and Durham sounded like the right start. Then maybe Scotland, and maybe outside the United Kingdom. Charlie cupped his face with his smooth hands as he remembered how as soon as Charlie had given notice at work and sorted out the buyers for the apartment, that ex had left him. He really didn't want to tell his friends and family. They all said the ex was a nightmare, and Charlie was better off without him. But Charlie loved him. He thought the ex loved him back. Turning his attention back to the pile of cardboard boxes, Charlie knew he hated this. In the space of a week, he had lost the love of his life and his favorite apartment. It wouldn't be long until the moving company came and helped Charlie move his stuff. Looking at all the boxes filled with his memories and things from his life, Charlie felt so empty. This was all so pointless. How could someone's life be boxed up so perfectly and moved? He supposed the only positive of this entire thing was Charlie had managed to convince his hot friend Chris, sadly straight, to let him stay with him in Durham for a month or 2. Whilst Charlie got himself sorted. Charlie wanted to scream at the thought of having to depend on the charity from others to survive. He had tried so hard to be his own person and support himself. But Charlie supposed he didn't think his ex would abandon him. He probably wasn't even going to Durham for work, but Charlie just wanted to leave London and get away from all of this. He especially didn't want to see the buyers of his apartment, and he definitely didn't want to see his ex if he was still in London. Listening to the noisy traffic outside, and what sounded like lots of different people shouting at each other, Charlie really wanted to escape for a few hours. So he needed to go to the only place he could relax, Russell Park. It was amazing that such a wonderful place existed in London, which Kieran guessed was why he loved it here. Looking at the thick rows of trees and wild plants that bordered the park and the busy streets of London was brilliant. Kieran could hear the squirrels climbing up and down the trees, and the birds singing. A perfect escape from chaotic London. Looking at the amazing park, Kieran loved everything about it, from the little ring pathway in front of the row of trees outlining the park, to the large cafe and different pieces of entertainment in the middle. Or to be honest, Kieran had to admit he loved the natural part of Russell Park. Turning to his left, he walked towards one of the two massive bug hotels in the park. Where some people would see an ugly pile of wooden logs in front of a wooden hotel thing, Kieran saw nature at its finest. The large wooden hotel thing was divided into 5 sections filled with different things for the bugs and butterflies to enjoy. From rough pine cones to the twigs and more. Kieran knew it was great London was trying to protect wildlife and give Londoners a piece of greenery. And Kieran did love all the clever tricks Russell Park used to protect and conserve nature. From the obvious bug hotels to the fenced-off patches of long bright green grass. That allowed the bugs and other creatures to nest safely. Smelling the bitter coffee mixed with the smell of the fresh trees, Kieran made a note to go and get a massive cup of coffee from the cafe later on. They did make some great coffee and pastries too. The sound of birds singing, people talking, and children running and laughing reminded Kieran of why he loved this place. It was like a little oasis in the middle of a desert. As much as Kieran loved London and Russell Park, he didn't like the constant traffic and rush of the city. But here in the park, it was different. A little bit of peace. A break from the rush of city life. With the smell of hot bitter coffee returning to his nose, and the taste of bitter chocolatey notes forming on his tongue, Kieran started to turn away from the bug hotel. He needed some of that hot coffee. But as he turned, he stopped. The sound of footsteps made him smile as Kieran looked at the stunning stranger walking into the park. His smooth, youthful skin was perfect. His beautiful face angular and soft. The stranger's longish brown hair blew slightly in the warm wind, and it looked perfect. As did the stranger's body. He was fit. The stranger looked sad, but then he seemed to relax, and all the tension left his body as he entered the park and breathed in the fresh park air. Kieran couldn't blame him. He always came here from work to de-stress, but he had never seen this beautiful stranger before. Then Kieran only realized his foot and body had continued to walk towards this beautiful stranger without his brain telling him to. A part of Kieran wanted to kick himself at this. He wasn't a weirdo who randomly walked up to every man he liked. He would probably be arrested if he did that. But the stranger was beautiful. Kieran wouldn't mind running his fingers through the stranger's stunning hair. What was wrong with Kieran? He never acted like this. Kieran really wanted to kick or pinch himself now. He needed to act normal. But his body had got himself into this situation. What could he do? Walk away? No, that would be too weird. The stranger gave Kieran a stunning smile, and he couldn't help but give him one back. His stomach churned and danced at the sight of that stunning smile. Kieran's smile deepened as he realized that he needed to talk to the stranger. But Kieran definitely had a good feeling about this. Feeling the slightly warm tarmac footpath as he stepped into the park, Charlie could feel all his tension leave him. All his problems and the dread that filled him just went away. He knew this was going to be a great few hours. For a change, he could forget about the move and just focus on himself and the beautiful park. Admiring the utterly stunning border of thick trees and wild nature that separated the fence of the park, with the ring footpath going around the entire beautiful park. Charlie smiled, the first time in a while, as he listened to the birds singing away and the squirrels hurrying up and down the trees. Of course, after his last encounter of almost getting chased by squirrels, Charlie was going to stay well away from them. He didn't want to be chased today. Feeling the warmish sun beam down on him through the trees, a part of Charlie just wondered what he should do. Should he just walk around like a lost pup? Sit at the large, pleasant cafe in the middle of the park by himself? No. A part of Charlie would love to go and sit in the cafe. All that bitter-smelling coffee with their amazing pastries and other delights smelt great. The atmosphere was welcoming, and it provided a perfect break from the city. But that had been where Charlie and his ex loved to go. He couldn't go in there. What if people asked about his ex? Or worse, what if his ex was in there? Maybe this had been a mistake. Maybe Charlie should leave London and never return. About to turn around, something caught Charlie's eye. Looking over by the large bug hotel, Charlie gave a massive smile as he saw an utterly stunning mystery guy. He had never seen this guy before, but he was perfect. His hair was short and it blew slightly in the breeze, and the guy's perfect strong jawline and his muscles looked perfect. Then the mystery guy turned and smiled at Charlie, and Charlie couldn't believe it. The mystery guy was walking over. This didn't happen to him. Charlie didn't get the attention of all the hot guys. Normally, other people had to introduce him. Hot guys never paid attention to him. Charlie was half attempt to turn around to check if there was a fellow hot guy behind him. But mystery guy was definitely staring and smiling at him. Well, Charlie had to admit this mystery guy was stunning. His smile was like a movie star. No, this guy had to be mistaken. There had to be someone else behind him. Then Charlie's heart skipped a few beats as the mystery guy stopped in front of him and smiled. This wasn't happening. Even better or worse, the mystery guy held out his hand. Charlie couldn't shake his hand. They had only just met. What if Charlie's handshake was poor? What if mystery guy thought Charlie was silly and weak? You could tell a lot from a handshake. "I don't bite," the mystery guy said, his voice beautifully smooth and manly. Charlie's smile grew. Then Charlie wanted to kick himself. Now the mystery guy knew Charlie was nervous. That was bad. Why was Charlie acting like this? At work he was a calm, collective man. He wasn't that today. Charlie shook mystery guy's smooth, velvety hand. Charlie's stomach flipped and butterflies went crazy as he loved the feel of mystery guy's soft skin. "Kieran," the mystery guy said. Charlie must have looked confused. "My name." Kieran. That was a hot name. Perfect for this guy. "Charlie," he said. Kieran smiled at hearing his name. Did he like it? What if Charlie was a bad name? It was nowhere near as sexy as Kieran. "I haven't seen you before," Kieran said, his voice beautiful. "I normally come in the evening, weekends, sometimes lunch." "You?" Charlie asked. "Every afternoon. I love it here. It's perfect. Especially today." Charlie smiled a little more. As if that was possible. "Charlie," Kieran said. Charlie smiled as Kieran said it wonderfully and seductively. "You looked a little sad when I saw you. Are you okay?" Kieran asked. Now that was just typical. Charlie's stomach churned as he wondered how he wasn't going to mess this up. If this jerk of an ex hadn't messed up his life anymore. Now his ex was going to mess up this. A perfectly beautiful guy, who actually seemed to care about him, was going to learn about how messed up his life was. Charlie was hardly impressed. What could he do? Lie. Dodge the question. If his mother or father was here, not that they would approve of any man for Charlie, they would probably get him to tell the truth. They were right about his jerk of an ex after all. Maybe Charlie should have trusted them then, maybe he would trust them now. I don't want to burden you," Charlie said. Kieran gently touched his arm. Electricity ran up Charlie's arm, and to other wayward organs. "It's no trouble. I want to hear it," Kieran said. Charlie smiled as he saw Kieran look to the floor, as he probably realized he sounded like he cared a bit too much. "It's my ex. He left me." Kieran looked like he felt bad for asking. "It's fine. But we were going to move to Durham together, for his job. My apartment's sold, and I'll be moving." "Oh, I don't know." Kieran stroked Charlie's arm. Charlie really wanted this perfect beautiful man to do more. He wanted more comfort, but Charlie knew not to get too far ahead. Why was he even unloading his problems onto this guy? Kieran smiled. Durham? Yeah. It's just I have a little holiday home there. Charlie didn't know where to be delighted or not. This beautiful perfect man had a place where he was going. But no, this couldn't happen. Charlie didn't want to be hurt again. He just wanted to go away from London. He was already going to stay with Chris in Durham while he got his life back on track. Charlie opened his mouth. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said anything, Kieran said. Walk with me, Charlie said. Kieran wasn't entirely sure whether or not to follow Charlie as he started to walk along the long yellow ring footpath around the park. With the wonderful thick trees and wild plants on one side and the thick lustrous green grass on the other. The birds continued to sing, and the people and children kept laughing in the warmish afternoon sun. Kieran had to pause for a moment. Should he really walk with Charlie? After all, his ex-boyfriend had just broken up with him. What if Charlie only wanted to walk with him for some weird kind of rebound? Looking ahead, Kieran admired beautiful Charlie as he confidently walked along the footpath. His steps strong and confident. He clearly didn't care if people saw them. That always was one of Kieran's flaws. He was never really sold on the idea of public displays of affection with other boys. Was Kieran just being silly? Usually, he never panicked or thought before acting. But this time, it was different. This time, he was hesitant. Kieran didn't want to make a mistake. Why was he acting like such a teenager? Like Kieran, Charlie must have walked around this park with boys before. It was a great spot to walk, catch up, and even kiss in public. No one ever minded here. Everyone was here for the little piece of the oasis amongst chaotic London. The smell of sweet, bitter coffee mixed with the refreshing scent of the trees filled Kieran's nose. A part of Kieran just really wanted to be with Charlie, but this boy he had met 10 minutes ago was in such pain, surely. He didn't want what he needed. Should Kieran really enter that? He didn't know. He didn't want to make it worse. If anything, Kieran wanted to help Charlie and make his life better. Then there was where Charlie's life was taking him. To Durham. Too far away from London. Maybe Charlie did want a fresh start, away from everything. Surely, Kieran would be trespassing on this new life. Knowing he was being silly and pointless, Kieran knew he had to walk with Charlie. He was beautiful, and Kieran hadn't acted or thought like this ever. He felt happy, relaxed, and his stomach churned and danced at the thought of Charlie. As soon as they shook hands, Kieran had felt the power and chemistry between them. He really wanted to be with Charlie. And so what if Charlie's life was going in a strange direction? Wouldn't it be good if Charlie had someone to support him? Kieran nodded. He needed to walk with Charlie, maybe just around the park, but maybe beyond. Feeling the slightly warm yellow tarmac of the yellow ring footpath beneath his feet as he walked. His heart raced and panicked as he thought that Kieran might not walk with him. Charlie needed him. He wanted to get to know him. Kieran was stunning. His perfect face and face. Even the thought of Kieran made blood rush to certain places. Admiring a massive tree as he walked past, Charlie admitted this park was beautiful. The wonderful row or border of thick trees was great. It was the perfect reminder of an escape within the chaos of a big city. Maybe Charlie would miss it. But why did he have to leave? Maybe Kieran had a place. He tried to force the thoughts out of his mind. That was unfair. That was really unfair. Considering Kieran wasn't even walking with him. Maybe it was a sign. Charlie frowned at the thought, at Kieran not wanting to be with him. He knew it was silly. He had just met Kieran, but it was like one of those crazy love films you hear about. When Charlie was with Kieran, he felt great, he felt alive and happy. He wanted that feeling. Charlie wanted to feel happiness every day. A part of Charlie wanted to turn around and shake Kieran's hand once more. And do more, of course. Charlie just wanted to feel that smooth, perfect skin one more time and look into those amazing eyes. Charlie didn't know what he was going to do next with his life, but he knew for a fact he wanted Kieran with him. He needed a strong, beautiful person by his side. Taking a deep breath and smelling all the strong, bitter coffee and the arguably pleasant smell of trees, Charlie thought about the horrible reality he faced when he went back to his apartment. The moving people would be there. Then he would have to return to real life and get off his romantic high. Charlie felt someone hold his hand. He recognized those wonderfully smooth, perfect hand and fingers. It was Kieran. "I'll walk with you," Kieran said, his voice amazing. Charlie didn't care. He kissed Kieran, and now he really didn't care what would happen in his life now. He had Kieran. He had a strong, beautiful man at his side who actually cared about him. As they walked round the park, Charlie knew this was going to be a great walk and hopefully beyond.
Welcome back everyone, it's me again, Connor Whiteley. So I really hope that you enjoyed today's story, because I flat out love writing, creating stories and sharing them with you. If you really enjoyed today's story, then please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithms. And if you want to buy this short story or any of my other fiction, then they're available from all major ebook retailers, and you can get them from your local library if you requested, and you can order the paperback copies from Amazon, your local bookstore or local library if you request it. Lastly, if you want to support the channel on a one-off basis, then you can now buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Connor Whiteley. Also, if you know anyone who would enjoy today's story, then please share it with them. I'm always really grateful when you wonderful people help spread the word about the channel. So, thanks for watching the Whiteleyverse, and I'll see you again soon. Have a great day, everyone.